The front door slammed shut, and I froze, my keys still dangling in my hand. 5 minutes, just 5 minutes, I'd left her alone to grab the mail, and now my house sounded like a rock concert gone wrong. My sister-in-law, Clara, had turned my sanctuary into a war zone. I'd always prided myself on my home. It wasn't much, just a modest two-bedroom with a cozy living room. But every inch was mine. The walls were a soft cream, the furniture a mix of thrifted finds and hand-me-downs, each piece chosen with care. My brother, Tom, called it my Zen den, a place where I could escape the chaos of life. But Clara, she was chaos incarnate. I should have known better than to leave her unsupervised, even for a moment. It started innocently enough. Tom and Clara had come over for dinner, a rare visit since they lived across town. Tom was my rock, the brother who'd always had my back, and I wanted to impress him with my latest culinary attempt, lasagna from scratch. Clara, his wife of 3 years, was a wild card. She had a laugh that could fill a room and a knack for turning every conversation into a performance. I liked her, mostly, but her energy was like a tornado, thrilling until it tore something apart. "Hey, I'm just stepping out to grab the mail," I'd said, tossing her a smile as I headed for the door. "Make yourself at home." Famous last words. I was gone for 5 minutes, maybe less. The mailbox was at the end of the driveway, but a neighbor stopped me to chat about his new lawnmower. I didn't think twice about leaving Clara alone. She was family, I'm right. When I stepped back inside, the air smelled wrong, sharp, like paint and something burning. Music blared from my Bluetooth speaker, some pop anthem I didn't recognize, cranked to ear-splitting levels. And there, in the middle of my living room, stood Clara, a paint roller in one hand and a can of neon green paint at her feet. My cream walls were now streaked with garish green stripes, like a toddler had been let loose with a marker. The coffee table was pushed against the couch, which was draped in a tie-dye sheet I didn't even own. A half-eaten pizza slice sat on my favorite armchair, grease soaking into the fabric. "Clara," I shouted, my voice barely cutting through the music. She spun around, her face lighting up like she'd just won the lottery. "Surprise," she yelled, waving the roller like a magic wand. "I'm redecorating your place, needed some pizzazz." Pizzazz. My heart sank as I took in the carnage. The room looked like a craft store had exploded. Paint cans littered the floor. Brushes and rollers scattered like casualties of war. A corner of the rug was singed from what looked like a candle she'd knocked over. My Zen den was a crime scene. "What the hell, Clara?" I managed, my voice shaking. She didn't even flinch. "Oh, come on, Mark, it's just paint, live a little." Her grin was infuriating, like she genuinely believed this was a gift. I wanted to scream, to grab the roller and chuck it out the window, but I just stood there, stunned, as she danced to the music, oblivious to my horror. I turned off the speaker, the sudden silence deafening. "Clara, this is my house," I said, each word deliberate. "You can't just do this." Her smile faltered, but only for a second. "Relax. It's reversible." Mostly my blood pressure spiked. I needed Tom. I needed my brother to see what his wife had done. I stormed out to find him in the kitchen, blissfully unaware, stirring the lasagna sauce I'd left simmering. "Tom," I barked. He looked up, his easy smile fading as he saw my face. "What's wrong?" "Your wife," I said, pointing toward the living room. "She's lost it." Tom followed me, his brow furrowing. When he saw the chaos, his jaw dropped. "Clara, what is this?" he asked, his voice low, like he was trying to process it. Clara twirled toward him, paint splattered and beaming. "I'm making it fun. Mark's place was so beige." Tom's face was a storm of emotions, confusion, embarrassment, and something like anger. "You can't just paint someone's house without asking," he said, his tone sharper than I'd ever heard him use with her. Clara's grin finally faded, and for the first time, she looked uncertain. "I thought it'd be a fun surprise," she mumbled, her voice small. A surprise, and that's what she called it. I wanted to laugh, But all I felt was betrayal. This wasn't just about paint or furniture. It was about trust, about boundaries, about respect. Clara had waltzed into my space and treated it like a playground, and now I was left to clean up the mess literally and figuratively. The next hour was a blur. Tom apologized profusely, promising to pay for the damage. Clara, chastened but still defiant, insisted she could fix it. "I'll repaint it. Mark, I swear," she said, but I didn't trust her with a paintbrush anymore. I just wanted them gone. Dinner was forgotten. The lasagna cold in the pan. They left. Tom's arm around Clara's shoulders. Her head bowed. I closed the door behind them and leaned against it, the weight of the evening pressing down on me. Alone, I surveyed the damage. The green streaks glared at me, a mockery of my once peaceful home. I grabbed a sponge and started scrubbing, but the paint wouldn't budge. It was oil-based. Of course, Clara's chaos was built to last. As I worked, my anger gave way to something deeper: sadness. I trusted her, welcomed her into my home, and she turned it into a circus. But more than that, I felt for Tom. He loved her, flaws and all, and now he was caught in the middle. The next day, I called Tom. I didn't want to fight, but I needed him to understand. She crossed a line. "Man," I said, "I can't have her here if she's going to do stuff like this." Tom sighed, his voice heavy. "I know. She's impulsive, but she didn't mean to hurt you. She thought you'd laugh." Laugh, I couldn't even imagine it. But as we talked, I heard the strain in his voice, the love he still had for her, despite everything. It made me pause. Clara was reckless, sure, but she wasn't malicious. Maybe I'd been too quick to judge. Over the next week, I cleaned up what I could. Tom helped, bringing over paint remover and a new rug. Clara sent an apology text, short, but sincere. "I'm sorry, Mark. I got carried away. Can we talk?" I didn't reply right away. Part of me wanted to stay mad, to hold on to the hurt, but another part, the part that loved my brother, knew I had to let it go. Clara wasn't perfect, but neither was I. I'd made my share of mistakes, like the time I borrowed Tom's car and dented it. He'd forgiven me without a second thought. Eventually, I invited them over again. Not for dinner, just coffee. Clara was quieter this time. Her usual spark dimmed. "I'm really sorry," she said, her eyes meeting mine. "I thought I was being fun, but I didn't think about how it'd make you feel." I nodded, the last of my anger slipping away. "Just ask next time." "Okay." She smiled, a small, hopeful thing, and I felt the tension ease. My house is back to normal now. Mostly. The walls are cream again, the rug replaced, the armchair cleaned, but something's changed. I see Clara differently, not as a tornado, but as someone trying to connect, even if she does it in the most maddening way. And I see Tom's strength, holding us together despite the chaos. Family's messy. I've learned. Sometimes it's paint on the walls. Sometimes it's words you can't take back. But it's worth it. If you're willing to clean up the mess together. What do you think? Was I too hard on Clara? Or was her stunt unforgivable? Share your thoughts. I'm curious to hear what you'd have done.